In the coming videos, we will be talking about sets, relations, and functions. These are the first few topics when you start your high school maths. We will start with talking more about sets in the coming few videos and then move to relations and functions. So how do we define sets? Set is nothing but collections of well-defined and distinct objects, right? So there are a few things you should to consider. It's a well-defined and distinct. Example, say 1, 2, 3. These are the well-defined three numbers, 1, 2, 3, and are distinct. A, B, C, D. Again, a well-defined first 5 letters of the alphabets, and they are all distinct. A, E, I, O, U. These are vowels, again well-defined and distinct objects. Right? So collections of well-defined and distinct objects is called sets. So before defining any terms of this lesson, let's first consider a few examples and try to classify whether these are sets or these are not sets. So collections of tall students in your school. Do you think it is a set or it is not a set? So you have tall students, right? There could be, but you do not define what is the definition of tall. Is it greater than 6 feet, greater than 5 feet, greater than 5.5 feet, right? So it is not well defined. Hence, this is not a set. Whereas if you see the right hand examples, collection of whose students of your school whose height is more than 180 centimeters. So this is a well defined set. So this is a set. Collection of honest person in your colony. Now this is very subjective. How would you define the honest person? And this could vary. These definitions could vary with people perceptions. So this is not a set. Collection of these peoples in your colony who have never been found involved in any theft and case, right? So this could be well defined, right? Because they may not. There are people who haven't have any sort of police complaint or any sort of complaints within the society which says they have conducted a theft. So this is a set. It is a well defined and unique. Again, similarly, if you take another example, collection of interesting books. Again, the definition of the interesting book is somewhat vague. So this is not a set. There's collection of mathematics books. You can define what is mathematics and what are not mathematics. So this is a set. Collection of intelligent students. So what do you mean by intelligent students? Are they someone who got 100% in maths, or they do very good in sports, or they're very good in chess? So how do you define intelligent students? Is again somewhat vague. So this is not set. There's collection of those students in your schools who have scored more than 80% marks in annual examination is something which you could easily verify. So it is easily well defined, and you can find the unique set of people who have got this. So this is a set, right? So the two properties that we talked about is well defined and unique. Now we have seen definition of sets. Now let's define some standard notation of what we mean by or how the sets are represented. Right? So standard notation. So sets are given by set is defined by capital letter. So write A, and elements of sets are defined by small letters. Okay. So A is a set, and these are the objects or elements of sets. Another notation is that you will often see is this, right? What does this notation means is says belongs to, right? So A is an element which belongs to set A. Similarly, you can say D does not belong to A, because we can see D is not part of A. So this is do not belong. So these are the two notations that you would see very often, where you say either you belongs to or you do not belong to a certain set. The other notation that you would see is I've been using curly brackets. Right? These are the standard ways of defining sets. You often define the elements of sets within the curly brackets. You will see more notations of how the sets are represented, but this is the most common way of writing element of sets. Right? So what you've learned, set is typically defined by a capital letter. Elements of sets are typically defined by small letters. Sets is most often you will see defined under curly brackets. And there are two, and an object may belong to a set or may not belong to a certain set. And epsilon or epsilon, which is current epsilon, is the sign which says belongs to or does not belongs to. Okay, some other standard notations, or you will see, or you will notice. So some of the sets are defined by standard name or number or alphabet, right? So example, you will often see n defining sets of all natural number, right? So you will see x belongs to n where x is greater than 2, right? You will see some these kind of notion. So when you see these notions, they refer to a set of natural numbers, and these are standard known in mathematics. Similarly, you will see W defining set of whole numbers, which is 0 to infinity. You will see Z or sometimes I defining all integers, right? So all integers from minus infinity to infinity is basically set of integers. And then you will see a set of positive integers or set of negative integers or set of integers or set of non-zero integers. Similarly, you will have set of all rational numbers. and set of all real numbers, which is defined by R. And then R minus Q is set of all rational numbers. So most often used terms are N and R, right? Say natural numbers or real numbers. This is the most often terms you will come across in your mathematics solutions. As you learn and as you advance more on high school mathematics, these are the two symbols that you would see a lot, right? So remember, there are certain symbols which are well known in mathematics, and if you see any of your courses representing symbols like these, you should know that they are referring to the sets. They are referring to the standard definition of the sets, right? Let's move to the next. Similarly, there are other symbols. We've already talked about symbols like belongs to, right? If a certain element belongs to a set or certain does not belong to a set, right? So we say there's a set A with elements 1, 2, and 3. Then 1 belongs to A and 4 does not belong to A. Right? Similarly, there is another symbol called exist or does not exist, right? So there exists a set A where A, for which one belongs to A. So we'll say there exists something, and there are some elements which belongs to that what exists. Just remember these symbols, because these symbols will be used often in the coming lectures. Wherever it comes, I will explain it again so that you're able to understand how it has been used in a certain notation. With this, we conclude this video. What you have learned in this video is two things. So in this video, you have learned about sets. You know what is the definition of sets. Well-defined unique object. And you have understood what are the standard notations. Great. In the next video, we will talk about more properties of sets. Thank you.